What's up, everybody? I'm Steve. Tonight I'm really excited to be able to rank the 19 studio albums from Rush. I've been a fan of this band since really the late 80s. I was 15 in 1988, so kind of gives you an idea when I kind of started, but my favorite stuff is from early 80s and 70s, really. But so you'll notice some of the stuff from the late 80s, mid to late 80s are kind of ranked a little bit lower than others, but I'm going to be quick about this. Just 19 albums. I don't want this to be a long video, but so number 19, I have Hold Your Fire. This is released in 1987. Obviously has the hit Time Stands Still with Amy Mann. You know, I think it's one of the few times that they've had a female backup singer. You know, it's made a video for it, and it's definitely way more mainstream and a lot more synthesizers. And you know, I do like The Mission and Force 10, but overall, I don't really listen to that album very often. But number 18, I have Presto. This is released in 1989. You know, Show Don't Tell, The Pass, Superconductor. You know, there's some good stuff on this. I thought they were getting a little heavier, getting away from kind of the synthesizers a little bit and more back to the guitar. Alex Lifeson was kind of missing in action, you know, during like the mid to late 80s, and they finally got his guitar back on this one. But the next one, this one's a Test for Echo. It's released in 1996. You know, I like the title track and Driven and Resist. You know, I thought after the album that came before this, I thought this was a little bit of a letdown, but you know, overall, there's some good stuff on here. That I like the production on it at least. But I just don't listen to it that often. Number 16, I have this is one from the 70s. Some people probably would rank this a lot higher. This is definitely one of the more prog albums that they had, and just the songs aren't great, but it's Crest of Steel. This is released in 1975. You know, it's got Bastille Day and Lakeside Park and obviously the Necromancer. You know, just has a lot of prog on it. Just the songs aren't really that memorable on it. Next one, this is from 1985. It's Power Windows. You know, it's got the Big Money, Manhattan Project, Mystic Rhythms. You know, this is definitely MTV here. You know, the videos. You know, it's a lot of synthesizer on it, and you know, it's definitely that. But number 14, I have from 1991. I have Roll the Bones. I think the person that might like this, if you can kind of tolerate Geddy Lee rapping on it, you know, which I can. I think it's kind of comical, and thankfully they never did that again, you know. So I can kind of tolerate it. I know some people that just can't stand it, can't stand to hear the title track, but I like Dreamline and Ghost of a Chance, and I thought I liked a lot of stuff on this, you know. Okay, number 13, I have Vapor Trails, but this is actually the remix of Vapor Trails. If this were I don't have the other version anymore. That's what I used to have, and I replaced it when I bought the remix. But if this were still the original release, I'd rank this a lot lower. But I like the remix a lot more. I thought it sounds a lot better. You know, before it was really muffled up, and I really hate the way it sounded. But you know, I like One Little Victory, Ghost Rider, Secret Touch, Earthshine. So just the remix kind of helped me enjoy this a lot more than I did before. Number 12, I have Snakes and Arrows. This is released in 2007. This is Far Cry, Armor and Sword, Working Them Angels. There's a lot of stuff on this. I think it's a pretty heavy album, a lot of instrumentals on it. You know, so you get to hear Rush kind of just jam out a little bit and not have vocals and everything. So I enjoy that a lot. Okay, number 11. I called an audible earlier, so hopefully I'm doing the numbers right here, because this next one I actually had at 14. I moved it to 11, so hopefully I didn't mess up the order, or mess up the numbers. But I had this. I have a Race Under Pressure at number 11. I just looking at the songs on it, and I thought, well, I like that a lot more than I thought when I originally wrote this down. But this is a released 1984. You know, Distant Early Warning, After Image, Red Sector A, Between the Wheels. I think this is pretty heavy. There's a lot more synthesizer on it, but I think it's still kind of Rush before Power Windows kind of made them way more commercial and more MTV friendly. But I like this 1984. Okay, now everything's back in order. So number 10, I have Signals. This is a released in 1982. New World Band, Subdivisions, Countdown, The Analog Kid. I like this a lot. After the album that came right before this, was really hard to top, and so I think you might kind of judge this a little bit unfairly, based on the one that came before. That it's not quite as strong as that, but I still enjoy it though. It's number 10. Number 9. Now this one was in the 90s, 1993. It's Counterparts. I really enjoy this. I think it's a really heavy album. It's mostly guitar. I don't know if there's any. There may be some synthesizer on it, but it's Alex Lifeson's really heavy on this. They really let him jam out on it, and his guitars are really strong on it. A great guitar tone. But Stick It Out, Nobody's Hero, Animate, some really great stuff on this. I'm just gonna give you some highlight songs. I'm not giving every song from the album, but those are some of the highlights for me. Number 8, this is actually the last Rush album that was ever released. Actually 10 years ago now, in 2012. This album's kind of, I liked it when it first came out, and it just keeps kind of growing on me. It's got Caravan and BU2B, Headlong Flight. Some really great stuff on this. Just I think for Rush to go out on this, I think they did it right. Just putting out a really heavy album, some longer songs on it, and just I think it's a really strong way to end the band's career. So number 7, I've got the Rush debut album, featuring John Rutsey on drums. The only album that he played on, 1974. It's got Working Man, What You're Doing, Finding My Way. It's just this is before, Neil Peart obviously was a huge part of the band. When he took over on the next album for John, but just something kind of special, really kind of raw about this. It sounds a little more like Led Zeppelin, and just it's heavy. Doesn't sound like anything else Rush ever did after this, But I think there's some really quality tracks on this, though. Okay, number 6, I have the next album that when Neil Peart actually joined the band, 1975. We got Fly By Night, obviously the title track, Anthem, Bydor and the Snow Dog. This is definitely signaled something new for Rush, and that even though the next album they didn't, it wasn't commercial or successful necessarily, but I think this kind of showed some promise. Number 5, I have A Farewell to Kings. This is released in 1977. Closer to the Heart, Xanadu, the title track. It's got some really great stuff on it. This is definitely more prog and heavy, and I love this one. Number 4, I think this one's really strong. It's released in 1980. We have Permanent Waves. This has some great stuff. The Spirit of Radio, Free Will, Natural Science. This is definitely early 80s Rush. Maybe a little more commercial, but the Spirit of Radio. It's kind of something that you've heard on the radio, forever, and it's a great song. Jacob's Ladder as well. So number 3, we'll get down to the final 3 that are some of the greatest albums from this band. But Hemispheres, this is 1978. Has Circumstances, The Trees, La Villa Strangiato. Not easy to say that. I don't know if people have seen this too often. Just that cover with Rush in red and Hemispheres in yellow. But this is a classic album. So number 2, this is probably is number 1 for a lot of people, but it's 2112, released in 1976. You know, you got the title track. It's got 7 parts to it. It's got We Have Assumed Control. You know, it's got that great ending. I love every part of that. The first, basically, if you had this on vinyl, it was the first side of the album, or cassette. It was the first side, and it's just 20 minutes of just greatness. You know, love that. But you know, I also like, you know, the Twilight Zone and Something for Nothing, A Passage to Bangkok. You know, really solid. This is what saved the band. You know, from being dropped from their label, and who knows what would happen to Rush if this weren't successful. And number one, I think for a lot of people, this might be number one. Some people might actually be really sick of a lot of songs on this, but obviously it's got Tom Sawyer on it, Moving Pictures, released in 1981, YYZ, Red Barchetta, Limelight, The Camera Eye, Witch Hunt, Vital Signs. You know, every song on this I think is really solid for me, especially the first side if you had it on cassette or vinyl. But just that first side ending with Limelight. It's really solid, and so I think it's fantastic. And so that's as far as I would really like to really like to hear people give me how they rank their 19 albums, or if you just want to do, you know, your top 10, you can do that. Just give me an idea, because I think everyone will have a different ranking. Some people really love the 80s; they might have it ranked a lot higher. It's like I say with my rankings, I say there are no wrong answers, and I want to hear them all. You know, if you have all 70s, you might have Press of Steel number one. I don't know. It's possible. It's just everyone kind of hears music differently, and stuff that hits you depending on how old you were and what your entry into Rush was might depend on that. And so, like I said, some people might be sick of the songs on Moving Pictures, and they may not. You know, that's ranked 1981. But really like to hear your in the comments. Just give me your ideas of what you like. So thank you. Please consider subscribing and like this video, and have a good night. Thank you. Bye.